Hello there everybody, and welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. I am King Mac, your hamburger pal. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to enjoy a hot fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden french fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Also be sure to grab some hot buttery popcorn while you're at it as you enjoy this episode of TTBurger Game Reviews on YouTube.
Hello my friends! How y'all doing today? You're watching TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube, and I'm your host Tony, bringing you more game reviews on the PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and more. And today we have a single part review. It's been a while since I've done one of these, episode 270 here, part 1 of one part. And we're looking at an FMV game here today. If y'all know, the FMV genre was very popular back in the day with games like Wing Commander, Commander 3 and 4, Fox Hunt, and more. And we're looking at one that was released in 1998 for PlayStation and PC. There was supposed to be a 3DO Saturn Game Boy Advance release of this game, but apparently it was canceled and stuff. Before I get started here, though, I want to give a shout out to everyone who has supported this channel for the last 7 years. Without you guys, this channel would not be as big as it is today. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all, because this channel keeps getting bigger and bigger each day. So I thank you all for everything you guys have done for me and for this channel and more, and this shout out goes to all of you. Today we're going to be looking at an FMV game that is a cinematic side-scroller where you move from point A to point B to progress the story and more. We play as a young boy named Andy as he tries to rescue his dog Whiskey. And it's a game by the company Interplay. And we got the game right here. This is Heart of Darkness for the PlayStation and PC, released on the same day, September 8th, 1998. Now, Heart of Darkness is a decent game that definitely does its best to implement gameplay and story elements into the FMV genre as best as it can. But due to some gameplay issues here and such, it will not be getting a super high score, but still a decent enough score to where it be called a game. So what is Heart of Darkness? Well, it is an FMV game, cinematic platform similar to games like Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and Oddworld, Abe's Exodus, and Out of This World, Another World, and more. We will scroll to the right and completing the objectives and whatnot to get from point A to point B to progress the story. The game is similar to the game by French game developer Eric Kahi, who created a game Out of This World, aka Another World, where we calling it and stuff, and just had to throw that out there. And Heart of Darkness to play as Andy, a young boy who's abused by his school teacher for sleeping in class. Andy has a fear of the dark, known as nyctophobia, and Andy's teacher forces him to watch the lunar eclipse for school. And Andy not wanting a part of it, Andy runs out of school and takes his dog Whiskey to the park, where trouble begins. Dark forces steal Whiskey and take him away to the kingdom called Darkland, where they meant to take Andy instead of Whiskey, but yeah, it's kind of what happens there. Getting back on topic here, it sends Andy to where he cries, really wants his dog back, and he goes to his treehouse where his mother wants to talk to him about what happened at school, but he ignores it. Andy gets a handful of his inventions ready to save his dog Whiskey and takes off in his custom-made spaceship to the Darkland, but unfortunately it crashes and Andy must face obstacles and enemies to reach Darkland and save Whiskey. I really like the story. Sure, some of the characters are not likable, like that asshole school teacher, and Andy's kind of a wimpy crybaby and stuff, but he develops courage later down the line. But that's okay with me, because a little kid going to be scared and cry like that in the game, what can you do? Well, you can enjoy the story for what it is. Presentation is all full 3D, making it look and feel like a Pixar movie like Toy Story and The Bug's Life, which were out around this time. The cutscenes have so much creativity to them and so much work done to them, it makes it feel like you're watching a full 3D CG movie. The in-game graphics though are not the best. They have some 2D look into them and stuff, but still, they look really good for a PlayStation game. The character models look awesome, and the faces look great. Sure, some of them look kind of creepy looking and stuff, but what do you expect from a game that's supposed to look like a cartoon? The environments are crisp and detailed with a lot of variety. First you're in like the woods, there's the forest, and then you go to like the Dark Kingdom and stuff and all that stuff and everything Darkland and more. The weapon effects and enemy models fit the game pretty well too, especially with the scene the enemies die. Now this game did stir some controversy on the death animations for Andy. People were uncomfortable and freaked out by the way Andy dies, because seeing a little boy die like that in the game, people did not really like it that much. But you have to remember though, there's nothing violent or gory here, there's no blood or anything like that. He dies like a cartoon character. So I don't know why people were upset about this, but hey, that's their opinion. There's also use of tobacco mentioned here, like for example the Dark name's whiskey and everything, just be forewarned. I really like the sound, especially the music, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. The voice setting is awesome, they really did a great job with the voice setting, although the mixing for the volume is hard to hear and you'll be forced to constantly mess with the volume on your television, which can be annoying. And there's no subtitles either, which could have been helpful, but then again, not a lot of PlayStation games did have subtitles. The music is wonderful. I love the orchestral music done by film and television composer Bruce Broughton, who is known for his work in Hawaii Five-0 and Tiny Toon Adventures and more. The weapon and enemy sounds are good, but the music is what steals the show and is the best. Same with the environmental sounds as well. Gameplay we have to talk about here. There's a lot to talk about here for Heart of Darkness. For stars, like I mentioned, this is a cinematic action platform where your goal is to get Andy from point A to point B to progress the story to save Whiskey. To do so, Andy must platform his way to defeat the enemies way to get to the Darkland and get home with Whiskey. When Andy crash lands, you're first equipped with a lightning gun, which is mega powerful and can wipe out enemies like that. But then you lose the gun, and then he gets this like energy charge-up shot, which wipes out enemies, which is pretty cool. So I kind of like it better than the lightning gun. You have to platform your way and try to find the best route to take to get to the next area and move. And this is where the problems start. The game is really difficult because you do not know where to go the first time you play, and it can result in Andy dying over and over. You die a lot in Heart of Darkness, more than you should. And on top of that, this game is one of those games that you scratch your head wondering, where do I go next? Why am I dying? Why am I getting stuck all the time? And it can get very frustrating here, as one mistake can kill you and you have to start all over the checkpoint. Even when you save in the pause menu, it does not matter because you're going back to the checkpoint or so. The controls are okay, but sometimes they are stiff and do not respond. The hardest part for me is figuring out how to climb ladders and everything like that. You have to jump and hit up and press the X again and then climb up and stuff. If you don't do that, you will die and start over. And square runs, but do not bother running much because when you go to the next screen, you could die if you're not careful. Triangle, circle, shoot, one strong and one weak attack and stuff, but sometimes weapons will not work, overwhelming you and killing you. It's as if the developers did what they could to challenge the player, but they took it too far. Heart of Darkness is on 2 discs, but it is short, wrapped up around 5 or 6 hours, but with dying a lot, it makes the game longer and harder. And when you beat the game, there are no extras or anything, so replay value is pretty much non-existent in Heart of Darkness. It also came with 3D glasses used for the ending, but unfortunately I lost mine, so I cannot show you them. But at the end of the day though, Heart of Darkness is an okay game. It could have been better, but still enough to be called a game. Just be warned here with the issues with the gameplay and stuff here and more. So just be warned there, but still you should definitely check this game out. I give Heart of Darkness a 7.5 out of 10 because of the problems I had with it. But the game that should not be overlooked at all if you want some cinematic gameplay elements for your PlayStation. That's all I gotta say for this episode. This is Tony. Peace and out. Have a good day and see y'all in episode 271 of my TTBurger reviews. Take care, everybody.